All right, CNT120, Chapter 4 Lab. We're on Part 6 with IP version 6. So just like in the last part of the lab, we're going to generate some ICMP version 6 traffic, basically ping 6, and that'll allow us to capture that and see the IP version 6 header fields. That's what we're going to do. So first thing, we'll go to our sniffer. And let's adjust this. I believe I cleared my packets earlier, so you might have some ICMP here, which is fine. I had cleared mine. So I want to get rid of this ICMP filter, so we'll do Edit Filters. I want to get rid of ICMP under version 4, and under version 6, I want to click ICMP version 6. That way I'm getting that traffic. There we go. So now we're getting ICMP version 6. I'm going to close this for now. Just like we did in the Chapter 3 lab, we are going to set a static IP version 6 address on this laptop for this network, and then we're going to set an IP version 6 static IP version 6 address on this laptop for this network. So we're really redoing what we did in Chapter 3, so it's a good chance to kind of redo what we did. Now, if we remember, we're going to use the tail end of the MAC address and add it to the network address that's here. So first thing, we'll gather the tail end of the MAC address here. So on this computer, ipconfig/all, we are going to look at, here is the physical address that's here. Here's the MAC address of this computer. We are looking at the tail end, in this case 70BA5A. That's what we're looking at on this guy. That'll be the tail end of our IP version 6 address. The first part of the IP version 6 address is the network it's attached to. In this case, it's the FD00A:A:A network. And just super quickly, over here is the A::A::A network. This is the A::A::B network. This is the A::A::C network. So over here, this computer will be on this A network like we did before, and this laptop over here will be on the C network, just like we did before. So on this laptop, let's go to the IP config, and under IP version 6 down here, we are going to plug the static IP address in. If this is here, fine. If not, don't worry about it. Yours may not be there yet, but if you've done any changes that might have filled in, I'm deleting mine for now. It's not going to hurt a thing to do what I just did. But I'm going to put in here FD00:A::A::A, double colon. That is this part of the network. The tail end is the MAC address of that computer, which, as we looked earlier, was my 70BA5A. All right, so I will take that 70BA5A, make sure you don't get spaces before and after. I will copy and I will carefully paste that in there. So that'll be the IP address of the computer. 64 will be basically our subnet mask, if you will. Half is network, first 64 bits is network, last 64 bits is host. Now, we'll leave this alone. If there's an address there, you can leave it alone. If it's blank, leave it alone. Now for the gateway address is the router it's attached to. So in this case, the Harrisburg laptop is attached to this router here and this interface, gigabit 00. So if I hold my pointer over that router and look at the 00 address, we'll see it is FD00:A::A::A, 202.16FF, FE85, 3501. That is the address we need for the gateway address for this computer. Now I think down here on the next page, Mr. Brown has that in here. Here's the IP address we're using that we just constructed. Then here's the gateway address of that router interface. Again, I can highlight this and I will copy it. Make sure you don't get spaces at the beginning or the end. So I'm going to copy that and I will paste this into my laptop gateway address line here. The gateway address line. Leave the link local alone. If there's an address there, leave it alone. If there's none there, leave it alone. And now I should be able to apply this and close this out. Now, if I go to close this and it doesn't let me, I need to go back and make sure I don't have those spaces or extra characters or anything in there. So I'm going to go to my command prompt now, and I will do my IP config. And I think that's what I tell you to do here. Yeah. If you do ipconfig, it'll work, but Packet Tracer has you do IPv6 config. So we'll do IPv6 config. We'll do what Packet Tracer wants us to do. So now looking at IP version 6, here is my address and my gateway, and that should make sense because they're both the AAA network, and then this was my host, my PC, my laptop, and this was that router gateway address. Excellent. We're going to repeat this same process on the Philly side of the network, being the FD00:A::A::C network. So we'll come over here. I'm going to look at the command prompt, ipconfig. Actually, I'm going to do ipconfig/all so I can see the MAC address of this guy. This is D690DA. So I will highlight that. I'll copy that. I'll go to my configuration here. Again, if there's something here, leave it alone. If not, if it's like that, it's fine too. So FD00:A::A::C, that's the C side of the network. I'll paste this tail end of the MAC address in, but I'm going to do this with it, :90:DA. Again, make sure there's no spaces at the beginning or end. Extra weird characters in the middle too. 64. I'll leave the link local alone, and now I need the gateway. The gateway is this address here, the gigabit 00. Okay, this laptop is connected up here to this router, to this interface. So if I hold the pointer over, it's that top line up there, FD00:A::A::C 201.64FF FE4C A001. That is the gateway address for this computer. And I think Mr. Brown has that over here for you. Scrolling down, this is the address we just created. Right here is the gateway address. So I'm going to highlight this guy, copy it, make sure there's no extra spaces beginning or end. Copy, and I will paste it into the gateway line here, the gateway line right there. And I will apply that. If it doesn't let me apply, again, make sure I don't have spaces beginning or end. I'll go here to my command prompt, and I will do the IPv6 config command they want us to run, and I should now see here is my IP address, here's the gateway, and if I look at those, I see A::A::C on both. That makes sense. Those should be now on the correct networks, if you will. Well, now that I have that, I should be able to issue a ping between these two and look at that IP version 6 traffic. So we're going to open up we're going to do a ping between Philadelphia and Harrisburg. And we're going to, on the Philadelphia laptop, we're going to ping the Harrisburg laptop. Well, I'm going to be smart. On the Harrisburg laptop, I'm going to make sure I copy the IP address right here. I'm going to copy it so I don't have to type it all in. I will close this out. Then I will go over here to the Philadelphia laptop, and we will go to the command prompt, and we will issue. In real life, it would be ping-6, but in Packet Tracer, I think they let us get by with just doing ping. Okay, so over here, in real life, it would be ping-6, but I will just ping and paste in the address that we're trying to ping, and we are looking for replies to come from there, and we are getting them. Yes. If we're not, we need to go back and double check our IP addresses and gateways and just thoroughly check that we have all the addresses in correctly. Think back to what you did in Chapter 3. So now that I have some successful pings moving through, we should now have some ICMP version 6 traffic here to look at. So let's open our sniffer, and sure enough we do. ICMP version 6. So let's highlight, I think I tell you here to highlight the first one. We'll look at the first two that are here. So we'll highlight the first one. Here's our Ethernet header again. MAC address of destination, MAC address of source. I believe this is our Philly and our Harrisburg. So I think it's coming from Philly going to Harrisburg. Let's look at our IP version 6 header now. So let's look at these fields. So coming down through version 6 makes sense. This is your traffic control field. Okay, this is your traffic class field. This is here, this is like priority, where you can set priority. Flow label, this is a way to identify that this packet is part of maybe another stream that's going through. Maybe it is part of a IP phone call that's moving through. So it will keep those kind of together. Here we look at payload length. How long is the thing? The next header here would let us know, in this case, this is ICMP. That's what we're going to get right here. So we have for the next, and then hop limit, this would be, again, like our TTL. Every time it goes through a router, it's going to decrease by 1. When it gets to 0, this packet has been on the network too long, it's going to get thrown out, expired, if you will. Now we finally see the source field and destination field. And you notice there's a lot of space here because these are 128-bit addresses. So this was coming from FD00A::C. This is coming from the Philadelphia laptop going to A::A, the Harrisburg laptop. So this is coming from Philly going to Harrisburg. That's what we're seeing right there. So now let's gather the source IP and destination IP from these header fields. So I'm going to open up my text file, and let's go part 6. IP version 6, and we want to do, we have the first packet, and then we'll have the next packet, if you will. First, and we'll put in the source and destination fields, and just like before, I'll highlight the source field, and I can usually copy one at a time. So I will copy that in there, paste it right in, and then I will do the destination field. Right here's the destination. Copy that guy. There we go. That would be the first packet. Now let's highlight the next one, and we'll hopefully see those flip-flop around. The source is coming from Harrisburg going to Philly, and I think we'll see that. Yeah, that makes sense here because the destination was Harrisburg on this one, so destination of Philly makes a lot of sense. So we will do, here we'll do second ICMP version 6 packet. And then we'll do the source and destination address again. Here's your source. And we will do destination. And we'll save that. All right. And I'll save my text file here so I'm not losing it. And back here. Okay, this was actually the second one. I did the first one and the second one right here. We can leave these IP version 6 addresses alone for the rest of the lab. That's not going to harm anything. So just make sure you save your text file so you're not losing your progress. I'm going to close my sniffer out, and I'm going to save my packet tracer file so I'm not losing my progress. We'll come back in the next part and start looking at some commands to use.